and so information technology and innovation. Please feel free to have a chat with them after the session. Let's proceed with the conference this morning. I now invite manager member and manager benefit payment, Mr. Arua Taravatu, to do our opening prayer.
And big congratulations to your supporters.
Good morning, everyone. All right, let's time of work.
I hope the celebrations will continue at this moment. But yes, aiming at the late national anthem this morning.
Thank you for our Nasfund CEO here to do the presentation. All the Nasfund staff, all the employee reps of every business house contributing to Nasfund employees. Johan, thank you for today's session. The presentation that we're giving, very being part of it, we need you, very be participating, very be informative, and very be collaborating with you. Go through the session. We thank you for everyone. Thank you also for the media who are also here and the hotel itself is ready for us to thank you. That is the presentation and the rest of the day for us very enjoyable and also very engaging and interactive session that you have. Thank you again for this. You want to say?
Chief Executive Officer of Nasfund, Mr. Sharma.
Thank you, Arnold. We have space in front. You can come up here. Arnold, you have here.
Manager for branch account as well as the officer in charge or the team leader for Momase region branch will be moderating this.
But this morning, I have the privilege to welcome you this morning again to another of our annual regional conference here in Lane for our Momase employees. Just few reminders, housekeeping for those of you just walked in now and you are new to Lane. The ladies and the gents on my left, you go out the door on my left, you walk down, you're right. The toilet facilities on the fire. If you're new to Lane. But if you mama ground or baba ground will then you know where the toilets are. Okay? Now, before we proceed with the presentation, I'd like to acknowledge our partners. Our partners at Nasfund. We have the FM100 here with us. Also, we have our employer-to-employer partners. Maybe you have walked in, you have seen their setup outside. In the membership discount program, we have the Brindle Group. They did their setups outside, so as the CPL Group, Hardware House, if you walk in, you see their steps, and so is theories. During the break or after the session, feel free to go there and inquire. Get acquainted with their products, their services, as and when you need their help, they are there to help you. Also this morning, if you can see in front, on my right, your left, we have some hours to present, and those employers from Momase that have got award for 2024 annual employer awards. We will be CEO, our good CEO will be doing the presentation this morning as well. Now, just to give you a heads up, how or what are the categories in terms of the employer awards. I know you have read the information available online on our page. In terms of employer awards, we have category A, that's to do with employers whom their contributions are remitted on a monthly basis above 100,000 or 100,000 a month. We have category B for those employers who remitted contributions between 50,000 to 100,000. And we have category C, that's for employers who are below or less than 50,000 remittance on a monthly basis. But there are 5 awards that Nasfund hours compliant or employers within the hour category. If you're taking note, then I'll just go through. Award 1, that's most compliant employer with mandatory contributions for those employers who have 15 or more employees and are contributing on a monthly basis or regularly. Award 2 goes to best employer with employer voluntary contributions for those of your employees who are doing more than 6% contributions. Voluntary contributions above the minimum contribution rate. And then award 3 goes to employer with member and voluntary contributions. Number 4, most compliant employee account maintenance, and that's to do with your employees' biodata. If your employees, if you also have the proper registration, they submit the member detail update form as and when you do registration, that award will be considered for you. And award 5, best employee non-mandatory contributions. That's for those who are doing contributions on a voluntary basis. Okay, so those are the 5 awards, and we here in Lay we have 4 winners for Lay. Thank you. Now we proceed, and I now welcome our good CEO for the opening remarks.
Hello. Good morning, all. First of all, welcome to our Momase conference, as we call it. And Leh is a very important destination for Nasfund. And you would see with the employers awards this year also that 5 employers who come from Leh, they were the winners. So Leh Golf Club, Group PNG, Leh Chamber of Commerce, ICTSI, and Palmolive. 5 employers who won the awards, Nasfund awards, they all came from Leh. So congratulations to you all for doing the right thing. Alright, let's start with the good news. This year, the rating rate was 11.75%, best ever since 2010. And it took your fund value to 8.1 billion. Last year it was 7.1 billion. Profit after tax 849 million. Interest credited 839 million. Total membership stands at 715,000. We paid benefit 591 million, and 793 million was the receipt. So in this page, what you see is all good news. So 2024 was really a good year, fantastic year for all of us and for all of you. Now, to see the scale of profit, in 2020 our profit was 222 million, and this year 849, roughly 4 times more than 2020. Similarly, contributions, 2020 contributions were 573, now we are 793. Withdrawals 467 million, and now it is 591 million. And net contribution, which is the money which is contribution receipts minus withdrawal payment made. So this is the difference of that. And this is the fund which gets invested. So 2020 we had about 105 million, and this year we had 204 million. And what is significant is number of transactions have reduced. In 2020 we have 93,000 transactions, and this year 78,000 transactions. What it means is less employment benefit paid. It means less people came and withdrew their money. And 2022, you would recall, it was the year of COVID, so there was a lot of unemployment in that area. So when there is unemployment, a lot of people come and withdraw. Now, this is the crux of what we all do. If you look at this graph here, what it shows is, it has moved. This is a very important graph. If I am a member of superannuation, this is what I should be looking at, not 1 year's profit, because 1 year profit can be because of reasons or all of a sudden if one asset goes up, it will give profit. But that is not superannuation is all about. Superannuation is all about consistency in profits, consistency in giving the returns. Now, when we say consistency in giving the return, what exactly it means? It means returns which is over CPI. In layman's language, suppose you go to buy a TV, and cost of TV is today 2,000. You go and buy that TV 5 years later, and they say that now you need to pay 2,200 kina. So this increase of 200 kina is called inflation. Now your funds must grow at the rate minimum to the CPI increase so that you don't go backward in life. Like today you are able to purchase a TV if you have 2,000 kina. 4 years later, you should be able to purchase the TV. That should be the growth of money which you definitely need. So when you look at superannuation, not Nasfund, look at any company or wherever you're doing investment, this is important to see whether your investments are growing above and beyond CPI or not. About CPI and inflation, they are the same thing. They are not different. So inflation or CPI. So if you look at Nasfund, in 5 years, we have grown by 7.21% against CPI of 4.9. 10 years, 6.51, 15 years, 7.44, and 20 years is about 10.53%. So what it means is that your investment with Nasfund has always delivered you a return which is more than CPI. So you have not gone backward in life. So your money has grown more than inflation. It means you have got better in life. It's not only you could buy a TV, you could buy something else apart from the TV. That kind of growth you have got there. But last year return was 11.75%. That's what we don't want to take a lot of credit for that. Because that has happened in 1 year. This is very difficult to return similar kind of 11.75% year on year because it's very hard. Because if you look at traditionally, our return average about 6 to 7%. So why to be very happy, we take all the credit for what has happened, but there is no guarantee that next year 11.75% will be able to deliver because it all depends on markets, how markets behave, how bond market is giving the returns, how international equities are playing there, or if there is a war there, or our investment in gold is more or less, investment in technology is more or less. So there are a lot of factors to play part there. Now, if you look at this slide, what it tells is last year was fantastic result because of one investment. I would say two investments. One is BSP. BSP share price went up by 45%. Their dividend yield was about 10%. So BSP, which represents 11% of the portfolio, it gave us 35% of income. Or if I go by total return, it was 39% of the return of crediting rate. Similarly, international equities, it is 17%, percentage of income 21 and return percentage 16. Government securities, 46% of the portfolio, percentage of income 29 and return is 8.5. Others, 26% of the portfolio, return is 15% and income is 15% and return is 6%. So this graph tells that this year BSP did something which is exceptionally well, and because of that, overall rate went up to 11.75%. That was one. Secondly, international markets did extremely well. So we were able to send some money overseas. The strategic assets allocation says that we can have up to 25% of the portfolio invested overseas. And we currently sitting at 17%, but that 17% of the portfolio returned 21% of the income. It means they outperform what government securities are doing and what others are doing. It means that investment has been good for us. And that is why when we talk about your portfolio must be equally distributed. So that if one sector does well, it compensates for the sectors which is not going well. Suppose all your money were sitting with government securities or in other assets, return would be very low. Return is balanced because investment in all the sectors. We have investment in equities, bond, properties. When we see equities within Papua New Guinea, overseas, and we have commercial buildings, residential buildings. We have government securities, which is T-bills, which is up to 364 days, but we have exposure up to 5 years. So, sum total combined of all, it gives us a return. And that is why it is important to know that funds are not invested in one place. What we call it, not all the eggs in one basket. And this is very, very important. I think it must have come in paper today. NAS talk, which we print. NAS talk, probably topic of NAS talk was the strategic asset allocation this time. Now, your fund returned 13.6% last year, which was the gross return. Expense was 1.05%, tax of 0.8%, net return 11.75. Yeah. But this is not something what we budget for. We budget for inflation. About 5%, expense of 1, tax 0.8, gross return of 6.85. So if we are returning 5%, that is meeting inflation. But gap from 5% to 13.6%, it happens because of some sectors doing very well and some not doing well. Now let's come to Nasfund's strategy. So what's Nasfund's strategy? For last few years, we all been waiting for some projects, big projects, resource projects to take on. Now, we all know that we all waiting since 2018 for Papua LNG to come on board. Since it has not come on board, there is a delay. What it means that we have to concentrate on the other areas or get ourselves ready. When next project comes in, we are ready for that. So our strategy was doing things better. How do we improve ways of working? How we empower more people with super education and inclusion? And how do we have a strategy for growth and penetration? And how do we optimize our portfolio? It means some part of the portfolio which is not doing well, what do we do with that? We repair, sell, improve. If it is a building, we can go and do some renovation so that we can attract better customers, better tenants. And that's what we're doing in the background. Whilst we are waiting for big projects to take place, we are doing all these so that we can attract more and more income in our portfolio. And next one is the data governance. Data governance means your data with our fund is accurate. When we are trying to get in touch with you, there should be absolute information with us that what is your email address, what's your phone number, so that we can contact you. And one thing I note in most of the cases I see, people give their employer's email address. Now what it does is when you leave employment, email goes there. So I would encourage you all, there is a MDF form. Please do fill your MDF form and have your personal email address registered with us, your mobile number, address, new mobile number. If you have changed mobile number, let us know. Because if you are registered with us, we will be able to reach out to you with the information which we want to provide you. Like from time to time, we get in touch or we register more employers in our E2E program, which is employer to employer, or membership developer program. But we send this information through emails, through mobile numbers. But if you are not registered or your mobile number is old, email is old office email which you have not updated, then you will not be able to get information. So please make note and do update your current data with us. Now, 2 years in a row, your fund won 2 awards. 2024, we were winner of PNG Core Award, and this award was in recognition of outstanding service for finance and banking sector. And when we say finance and banking sector, it means we were judged against all the super funds, all the insurance companies, all the finance companies, and all the banks. So 2024 was that award which we won. You have noticed we had come out with a lot more videos in 2024 explaining what superannuation is, what are the various things you can learn about superannuation. You don't have to always come to us or call us. By watching these videos, you can say what is MDP, how housing returns can be taken, and how you can increase your voluntary contribution. So that was 24. Now 25, we won the Innovation PNG Award, and this award that we are first company within financial sector to have implemented artificial intelligence. So we have implemented AI, and this while winning this award, those who were in final list were all the banks. It was Atisa Bank, Credit Corp Bank, My Bank, BSP was also there. So we competed against all the banks, and with that we have come as a winner. So please give a round of applause to our team there. I think otherwise sitting there, and sitting there, it's their hard work which basically takes us here. This is what I was talking about. It's AI-based solution. What it does is, you would have seen if you work in companies, when you have to buy something, what you do? You get in touch with vendor, they give you their invoice, based on the invoice or perform invoice, you give them purchase order. That is step number 1, purchase order. Step number 2, goods get delivered to you. When goods get delivered, you get goods receipt note. And then it comes with the invoices. Then what someone needs to do, someone goes and checks that we ordered that computer, have we got that computer or not? We issues purchase order for 10, did we receive 10 and has been invoiced for 10. Number 1. Number 2, what we also check, we gave purchase order for 10 computers at 2,000 kina each. Invoices for 2,000 kina, 2,100 kina or 1,900 kina. Right? We have manually need to go and check all of that. But now with the use of technology, just we put all this information in one place and it automatically checks it. After checking it, it puts a batch for our payment system where it says this all batch matches. It means the invoices which you are processing, which are in this category, you can go and process because it absolutely matches with purchase order and good receipt note. Then it puts another category which is for the review. It means these are not matching. Either price not matching, quantity not matching, and quantity price both not matching. It means we need to concentrate on that. So that we have already implemented, and this is what it does is it is going to increase productivity by 40%. Our extraction accuracy there is 97%. So if you take a receipt from Lay International, you have coffee, just triple that receipt and put it in the system through a scanning system. It reads out data absolutely accurately. So accuracy is 97%. This 97% accuracy is not only for typed receipts. Even if something is handwritten, it will pick it up. So that is the accuracy of AI nowadays. And then we will save about 3 hours of saving per APA staff per day, and 70% reduction in cycle time. If we were taking 3 days to make payments, now we take only probably a couple of hours. As everything comes in, we run the batch, immediately we can make payment. Now, this was the 7th award which I was talking about before. So, most of the times when we are engaging with employers, what do? We complain. You have not given your contribution on time. Your data is not correct. There is a delay. It's very seldom that we have opportunity to say thank you to the employers for doing the right thing. Not all the employers do the wrong thing or delay. Most of the employers are compliant employers. So 7 years ago, we thought it was an absolutely well-deserving idea that we must give this opportunity to us ourselves to be in front of those employers who do the right thing, to say thank you. Thank you for doing the right thing for your company, doing the right thing by the act, by law, and doing the right thing for your employees and our members. So there are criteria we put in there. There are several criteria: contributions, timely contributions, voluntary contributions, accuracy of your data, whether data of your employees and our members are correct or not correct. Because what we see, about 6 or 7% of our employers, they don't have correct date of birth. I have got employers there which have got age of 110 years, 114 years. I wish we all live that long, but that is not the case. So it means something is definitely wrong. And some of the employees, they are less than 16 years old. So we are going forward, we have corrected in the system. You will not be able to probably key something which is less than 18 years when you onboard someone. And going forward, as technology progresses, this needs to be validated by another document, whether it will be a driving license or a passport or an ID, so that they could be verified. Currently, you can pick any date and write any date. So as we will probably advance in that area, that improvement will come. So we had our 7th award, and it was really pleasing to see that it was not a very Port Moresby centric award. This was not the award where winners who ultimately won, they came from only Port Moresby. They came from across the country. As I said, 5 employers from Leh region, they came. And mining companies, resource companies, they came from the places. There were winners from Goroka. OPTD was there, Santos was there. So it was really, really pleasing to see that employers across the country, they do the well-deserving right thing. And when they do the well-deserving right thing, they basically get applauded and they get awarded. So I encourage, if your company is not in the list, please do so, get it there, because when you come there, you meet other employers as well who do the right thing, and then you can learn from each other as to what do we do. And going forward, we will create more things out of it as to how do we encourage more employers to take part and do the right thing. Now, some of the challenges which we face as an industry. One is a banking tax. If you all remember, BSP was given a banking tax of 45%. There was one additional bulk tax which was imposed on them and DGCI. Last year, half of that was refunded to them in settlement, but their rate is 45%. Other banks pay tax of 35%. Now, the reason for them is those banks who make profit of more than 300 million, they pay 45%. Those who make less than 300 million, they will pay less, 35%. And for BSP, this rate from 45 to 35 will come every year, reduction of 1%. So 45 will become 44, 43, 42. But if BSP was also on 35, then they would have made far more profit for all of us, because 1% tax rate for BSP means 18 million K. If it was 10% less, they would have given 180 million K more profit. And out of 180 million K more profit, we are 10% shareholders of the BSP would have got about 80 million K more. So it's just 80 million K in 1 year. Next year it will be 17, then it will be 16, 15. So going forward, when you add that in 10 years' time, the whole amount will come to close to 150 million, which BSPs would pay more taxes as compared to the other banks. And that is only our share, 10%. And as I alluded before, we have 17% in offshore assets, whereas our targeted assets allocation say that we should have 25%, which we have seen is good for the returns. And Superannuation Act allows that we should have 35% of our assets invested overseas. And this happens across the globe in all the geographies, all the countries, because it is a very good risk mitigating way that if things go wrong in Papua New Guinea economy, then something should be kept outside so that your investment keeps growing. Because remember, I have membership profile from 20 years old to 60 years old. So if you are in the retirement age and all money is kept in one pot and something goes wrong with that pot, then if you are trying to retire, then you will have less money with you. And if this money is distributed and invested in a manner which needs to be done, then every year you will have a return which will be a balanced return. And that is why it is important. We always, you will see in all the forums when we go, we ask for more efforts to be given to us so that we reach our SAA. And we have seen there is a reduction in interest by the government, about 2% reduction in long-term bonds. And we turn around about 1 billion kina of investment. It means every year our interest income goes on by 20 million. So we need to find another way where I'm going to find this balance of 20 million kina of income, which are the areas where I'll invest, or where I'm going to cut my costs to recover that money. Now, this one is really important when I say wider macro issues. Look, you know, Fiji is our next door neighbor, a Pacific country. Superannuation coverage in Fiji is 42%. It means 42% of the population, they are covered by superannuation. But when it comes to Papua New Guinea, we are about 9% or 10%, depending on what is your population. And we are saying population of 10 million kina, about 10 million people, then it is about 10%. If population is 12, then it goes to 8.5%. Fiji, the figure is 42%. Why it is 42%? Because there is a universal coverage. Anyone who works, they need to contribute to superannuation. In PNG, if you work for an employer, they have less than 15 employees working for them, you are not supposed to contribute. But think about when they will retire, people working with those employers. That time, financial needs will come into the play and they will really think, why did I work for an employer who never contributed for my Nasfund? Whilst it is not mandatory, no one stops you from contribution. Between 2024 and till now, about a year and a half, we have registered roughly 300 small employers who have less than 15 people working for them, but they contribute with us. Because when we go and speak to them, and they understand the needs. So one thing we would encourage you, if you have subcontractors working for your company, those who have less than 15 employees, please ask them that they should contribute, because it is not good for someone who is working there. Because suppose you have worked for 20 years, 25 years, you will have nothing when you retire. And that will be a terrible situation to be in. Like at Nasfund, one thing we do is when we register any contractor, one of the conditions we do, are you contributing to superannuation or not? If not, first, do you have more than 15 employers? If yes, definitely they should contribute. If no, then we try to seek a presentation with the employer and employees. Go and talk to them that there is a merited contribution. So if you come across companies, you dealing with them for some time, they have less than 15 employees, please do reach out to us. Reach out to, if you are here, Nathan and his team, reach out to him and her team, and send an email to me, message to me. We will try to arrange a meeting with those employers, talk to them, and pursue them that they should come and start contributing. Second is employer contribution percentage, 8.4%. It was last changed in 2007. Now it's been 18 years, that number has not changed. Right? Now, while I was making this slide, Australia had 11.5%. Effective 1st of July, Australia will have 12%. Now, most of the Pacific countries, there are 14 Pacific countries, they are part of PIF, we call it, Pacific Island Investment Forum, where superannuation companies around the Pacific, they are members there. Average contribution in Pacific countries is 10%. It's not 8.4%. So in Portmore, PNG, we have one of the lowest contribution. And what it does is it means your money will grow slowly. If employer contribution was 10%, your money will grow faster. So since 2007, we have not changed that. There is a merit in this to be changed. And PNG has the highest taxation on superannuation. We are taxed at 25%. Around Pacific, in Australia, tax rate is 15%. So we pay 10% more tax if that 10% tax was not there. So last year, say we paid about 70 million in taxation. If it was only 15% and not 25%, it means I would have paid roughly 40% of that, 28 million kina less. What would have happened with that 28 million? Close to 0.4% extra credit rate for all of you. And this is for 1 year, and this story goes year on year. So again, there's a merit. We are in discussion with BPNG, whichever forum we go, we meet. We meet all the ministers, we meet Bank of Papua New Guinea Treasury, through Association of Superannuation Funds. We do talk about these things, that 8.4 contribution should change. Secondly, taxation should be more beneficial, come down to 15% rather than 25%. And third is early withdrawal. Now what happens is, I think Papua New Guinea is the only country in Pacific where early withdrawal is permitted. If you are unemployed for 3 months, you can come to Nasfund and withdraw your money. Right? Now, this worked very well till 15-20 years ago. Why I say till 15-20 years ago? Because till 1975 or 1980, average life in Papua New Guinea was 50 years. That time people did not live up to 55 years, so it was the retirement age. So there was no need for people to accumulate money because most of the people did not go past that age. And these legislations were made in those old days, where it was viewed that if your money, enjoy money while you are living, right? Now, look at today where the numbers have changed. Today, average expectancy, life expectancy in Papua New Guinea is 65 years of age. That is point number one. Point number two, women folks, they outlive male folks by 2 years. It means average life for female is 67, male is 65. Now, third very interesting number, those who live up to 50, they live up to 70. Because 65 is average. So when we say there is a good possibility that in current terms you're going to live till 70, 10 years, 15 years down the line, this age will go up to 75, 78. Like, look at Fiji. Fiji is about 73. Solomon is about 69. Australia, New Zealand, they are about 85. Yeah? So people are living longer. When people are living longer, what it means, we all will need more money when we retire, right? So when we need more money, how do we get more money? Unless we accumulate more. Because this is not something where all of a sudden I will have a windfall gain, I'll have a lottery where I'll get, $500,000, 300,000, 400,000 will come to my account one day. It is not going to happen. It needs to be accumulated every year, consistently, with a lot of discipline. And unless and until we all take charge of ourselves, this is not something which employers has to do for employees' members. This is your superannuation, your member superannuation. This is my superannuation. I need to look at what exactly is my need, how much money I would need when I'm going to retire, and how much money do I have. You all can do calculation, we all work on Excels. You just see what is your balance today. If you keep contributing the way you are contributing, at your desired age of retirement, 6% of that. At the end, it will give you a sum. Suppose it gives you 200,000. Yeah? Looks huge. If today I see you have 200,000, you will jump. But I'm talking about 200,000 after 25 years. Now, another thing which people often forget is talk about how much your expenses will grow by. Because when you all go to supermarket, a packet of milk which you bought 5 years ago, you need approximately 2.4 times more. If you are spending 100 kina a week, you have to spend 240 kina a week. So what it means, 200,000 would look big, but then you see how long it is going to last you. Then it should create some anxiety within you. Okay, probably it's not going to be sufficient. If it is not sufficient, then few things you can do. Voluntary contribution. Your employee portion you can increase from 6%, but that is after tax. Tax rate is 30%. That tax 30% instead of paying to IRC, it will come to your account. It means when you leave fund, you're not going to pay any tax on that. So there is 30% saving there. But do those calculations. On 18th of July, we are going to launch our new website. It will say that if I retire at 60, I have got say 200,000 kina, my expenses say 2,000 kina a month, then for how long it will last. It will say, okay, till you are 70 years of age, 75 years of age, it will last you. And this is I talked about before, account mergers and MDFs. Often, I think I get probably one message definitely per week on LinkedIn account. At times it is 2 to 3. People complaining that there has been delay in processing the benefit payment. Now, why there is a delay, as I said, so if you have more than one account, please merge them when you don't have this money. Because when you require this money, you need that money immediately. If we have a member, one account, all data correct, all documents correctly given to us, processing should not take more than 2 to 3 working. But if we have to merge, it's another process. If we have to further ascertain, is it the same person who's having 2 different accounts? You are very sure, but we want to be sure. So those who have multiple accounts, please merge it when you don't need money. Because when you require money that time, it will bring frustration to you. You will say, Nasfund is not doing the right thing. But please understand, it is our duty to pay money to the legitimate owner of that account. We don't want this process to be misused. So at times, if there is a delay from Nasfund perspective, delay is not because we are not working. Delay is because we absolutely want to ensure that payment is given to the legitimate account holder. As we said, how many account things we process? We process roughly 72,000 to 80,000 cases every year. 6,000 cases per month. Roughly 30 cases per day. This is the processing which we do. And it takes a lot of effort to check everything out. Because we don't have a common identifier in this country. Like someone will give our driving license, and we could have a multiple license, one from Leh and one from mostly another from Hagen, and it might all have different details. So whether it is NID or it is a text file number as it happens in other countries, unless we have a common identifier, it will continue to create problem, or everyone has a passport. You know, if I have one identifier, I can identify, it is easier. All the membership data, I'll put one number. Everyone's passport number, or an ID number, or text file number. The problem is, text file number is not mandatory in the country, like TIN numbers are not mandatory. Everyone does not have passport, everyone does not have an ID. So again, it takes a process. But probably as we are progressing, as banks will become more difficult for same else, we can put all of them together and then we can probably reach out. It appears that you have 2 accounts, or or you have 3 accounts, because at times people not only have 2 accounts, they have 3 to 4 accounts also. Now, this is a very scary data. You look at this data, what it says that most of the people, they have less than 10,000 Kina in their superannuation account. What it means that 20% of the population, they have more than 10,000 Kina, but 80% of my members, they have less than 10,000 Kina. Probably not sufficient for them to retire. And that is why I'm saying, please have a look at your Nasfund balance, see which age category you belong to, calculate how much money you have when you retire. Because one thing is absolutely sure, that when you retire, you will be needing money for retirement. And this is a problem which the entire world will be facing, and which will be elderly poverty, because look at Japan, people live up to 93, 94 years of age. Now, what it does is, the other challenge of everyone living longer is, which is not very nice thing to say, but the fact what happens is, inheritance gets delayed. One house, earlier 2 generations were living, if 3rd generation comes into the play, 93-year-old and 60-year-old and 30-year-old. When people were living up to 70, 2 generations were living in the house. It was sufficient for them. If everyone is living longer, it means 1 generation will have to again build house and look where to live. So and this is not problem related to Papua New Guinea, it is happening around the world. Japan is the biggest. People living till 93, 94 years of age. And other problem what occurs is, if property is in the name of the eldest, Alzheimer, dementia, they forget who they are. In Western countries, we have seen the carers, they get most of the wealth, because that's what people remember in last 5 years of my life, last 4 years of my life. That nurse who was with me, she or he was most helpful, and most of the, they do a bill and they transfer a lot of money to them. So it comes with a lot of problems, and people trying to deal with it, that how do you update your will. And other thing which is about the will kit is on Nasfund. If you go to our website, you will find will kit. If you don't have will, I think encourage that it is good thing to have will. It is not something which, by doing a will doesn't mean you're trying to think something bad should happen to you. But what it means is, if anything bad happens, that money which you've been preserving for so long for your dear ones immediately reaches them. Otherwise, it has to go through a process. In a lot of other countries, if you have a house, you must have a will. Otherwise, it goes to government first, then court will decide where it needs to go to. And that will kit is free. And if you need any advice on those will kits, you can reach out to our legal team. This is a standard document. And people in other parts of the world, they change their will as and when there is a change in situation. So it is not something you have done it once, it is done and dusted. You can change it as and when you need it. So will kit is something you probably should look into it and work on this if you have not worked on as yet. So this is what I was talking about, need of legislative changes for doing superannuation. 8.4% should increase, tax should be lower, withdrawal should be restricted. And it is collective awareness, because if you all work in an organization and if you work in HR department, if someone comes and withdraws the money, the first question we should be asking, how much it will be worth in 20 years time or 30 years time. Simple example, there is something called which is rule of 72. What it says is how long it will take for your money to double. It is called rule of 72. Say, I have shown graph that in last 5 years we have grown by about 7.2%. So we take example of that. What it means is every 10 years your money will double. Suppose you are 20-year-old and you have 50,000 kina. Or let's talk about say 10,000 kina for ease of calculation. So rule of 72 will say when you become 30, that money will become 20,000. When you become 40, that money will become 40,000. When you become 50, it will become 80,000. And when you become 60, it will become 160,000. You are not contributing a single toya from that day when you were 20. Someone who is 20-year-old, if they have 10,000 kina, or if someone is 30-year-old, they have 10,000 kina, if they don't touch their money, don't do anything, don't contribute. If return is 7.2%, then by the time they will reach 60, it will become 80,000 kina for a 30-year-old and 160,000 kina for 20-year-old. Okay? So money grows significantly, and this is called compounding interest. Interest on interest. You know what happens? I'm sure there will be few smokers here. When you smoke, what is written on the cigarette packet? Smoking is injurious to health. Right? There's a warning there. You buy liquor, it says drink responsibly, drink sensibly. Yeah? On our withdrawal forms, we don't write that, withdraw sensibly. So, because this money is for superannuation, this money is when you retire. Because 20 years ago there was no need for this. There is a growing need for all of us to accumulate more when we retire. Or accumulate more so that you can withdraw housing advance, build your house. There is a purpose attached. House, retirement money. There should not be any other purpose. So what people do? Unemployment, no other way. Okay, let's go and withdraw Nasfund because it is easier because you can. Once you withdraw, you think, okay, when I'll start working, I'll start contributing more. But what amount you will contribute? Suppose you withdrew money when you were 30. And you got re-employed after 3-4 years, or you did not want to do work. You never contributed. If you start contributing after 5 years, that time you withdraw 20,000 kina, you'll go put 20,000 kina. But that is not sufficient. At 20, you would have grown to 30. Because when you leave money with the fund, it grows. So when you recoup has to be principal plus interest. But people forget to do that. They say, okay, I'm withdrawing money 10,000 kina, anytime I can bring 10,000 kina. Because that's what exactly we have shown. That 10,000 kina has potential to become 160,000 in 40 years. In 30 years, 80,000 kina. So it is important to understand the benefit of compounding interest. Nobody earns money in life. Money earns money. It's those who have more, they will earn more. Those who have less, they will earn less. Because that is all the mathematics says. If you have 100,000 kina, if my crediting rate was 11.75%, you have 11,750 as the interest rate. If you have 1,000, then you will have 175. So it's the money which earns money. And very high percentage of crediting rate will not make a difference if your balance is very small. Say your balance is 10,000 kina, then if we give 50% crediting rate, which is next to impossible, then you get 5,000 credit increase. But if you have 100,000 kina, it is easier. That's only 5%, not 50%. So please understand, if it is your superannuation, for you to grow superannuation, you need to have sufficient balance to grow. If there is not enough, then interest rate is not going to help you till your balance becomes significant. If those who have probably a Nasfund account for last 10-15 years, it would be worthwhile go back, download your statement and check how interest crediting, the amount changes significantly as you grow in number of years. 10-15 years ago, you should have in hundreds. Now, if you have balance in 20, 30, 40,000 kina, it will become in thousands. So that grows. Cumulative interest, time in the money, and amount. So that's very important. And this is the example. If you start contributing 50 kina additional per month, then in 30 years it becomes 40,000. And if you do 150 kina, it becomes 122,000 kina in 30 years time, just with the 5% return. So it is not that you have to do a big saving to do a huge saving towards end when you retire. What you need, a disciplined saving, smaller amounts regularly every fortnight without fail. The only mantra to success here, the only mantra to accumulation of more wealth is being disciplined about. Like when we are working, we are not dependent on anyone. So when we retire, we should not be dependent on anyone. We should have sufficiently money kept in the spot, which will help me retire, help me build my home. You know, all those objectives of life which we have. Now, this is something if you want to become a millionaire, how you can become a millionaire. 25 years of age, you start with a salary of 50,000 kina, and your salary increases every year by 3%, right? Because you get the CPI increase. Few companies give, few don't give. So we have assumed that you are working for a good company and you get 3% increase. And this 50,000 becomes 140,000. And you save this money for 35 years, and crediting rate is only 5%. We have shown our crediting rate is more than that. If you start at the age of 25, don't withdraw fund, leave there, contribute regularly every fortnight, as we have shown it there. You will have $1 million kina in your account when you retire at 60. Now you should look at your age here. Whatever age category you all should belong, do you have a balance near to that or not? So whatever is the goal may be, and that's exactly we need to look at. Maybe this 50,000 is too much. Oh, we started with 25,000, then you will have half a million kina. But if it's half a million kina, and if you are 40 years of age, do you have 150,000, 170,000 kina or not? And this slide is with two assumptions. One, your salary is 30,000 kina, age 25 years, your crediting rate is 5 years, salary grows every year by 3%, and saving duration is 35. This is the right side of the graph. Without doing anything, you should have $500,000 in an account when you retire. And if you do voluntary contribution, as I said, 8.4 to 15, it means 15% of employer and 6% of employee. Total contribution is 21%. You will have close to 934,000 kina. Your smaller brothers, kids, those who are just getting into workforce, coming out of uni, start early. There's a lot of benefit in saving early. If you start saving early, you don't have to worry a lot when you are in your 40s or 50s. But if you have not saved enough and you are already 50, it becomes very hard to accumulate a large chunk there. So that is why we encourage to start contributing, contribute regularly, don't withdraw it. Otherwise, people will say, you give me money and I'll grow your money by 20% every year. It doesn't happen anywhere. Look at any portfolio around the world, nobody gives 20% return. So if someone is telling you, obviously you should be worried about whether you will get your principal back or not. It's important to preserve your principal, then earn something on that. So it's not that 1 year someone gives a return 20%, second year he gives 20% return and the principal goes finished. It means you have not earned anything on that. So it's important to be very careful what your alternate investments are. And if you don't have an ability for a good alternate investments, like if you have capacity, invest in shares, BSP shares, Kina Bank shares. They are pretty good investments, they give great returns. But if not, leave your money with superannuation, whether it be Nasfund, number 1 super, CTSL, whosoever it is, because we are very regulated. Bank of Papua New Guinea regulates us. They come and audit our books every year. We have engagements with them. We are not allowed to do anything which is not right for the members. Any investment decision which we take, I cannot take any decision. I mean, if you say, oh, I've got a good project, please invest. I may say you yes because I want to feel that I'm a big boy, I can get things done. Fact remains, we cannot do anything. It has to go through the process of committees, subcommittees, external advisors, and the board. Now, what lies ahead? Targeted presentations. Like our team, our staff has been updating you all about what superannuation can do for you. Now, next stage, because we are getting more and more geared up with the data. So when we come to your organization, I can come to your organization and say that my membership in Leh or Morobe looks like this, my membership in PNG it looks like that. So that there is a comparison, you can compare, right? That whether you're doing okay or not doing okay. Unless until you have that benchmark, that am I less than or equal to most of the members who are say 35 years old with Nasfund. It will give you that you are below average, above average, or you're on track. So if you are not on track, things I have discussed, we all can do about it, and you are above that target, doing well, keep doing well. That's the only way to do. And third is again the super literacy. Financial literacy is something which financial institutions are talking about for some time. You should have a bank account, you should save, you should budget. But now discussion should progress from there to a super literacy. Things which we talked about, that how do we manage our superannuation fund? What are the requirements? How we can increase it? And why we should increase it? It is not that we are greedy that we want your money. Definitely we want your money. But inherent reason drivers are you. If you want to have more money in your superannuation accounts, definitely we need to do that. Now, one very interesting fact about Papua New Guinea. You know, in 2000 till 2010, the whole superannuation industry in Papua New Guinea, their balance was 890 million. About 900 million was there. So less than a billion came out. Now, 24 years later, here we are there, and the sum total balance of all superannuation funds in Papua New Guinea is close to 21.5 billion. So this is one industry which has grown by 20 billion. And who does money belong to? It doesn't belong to company. This money belongs to all individual members of super funds, whether they are from Nasfund, number 1 super, CTSL, or tax super. Some collection of this million people who contribute to various super funds, it is their funds. So 20 billion growth has happened in this industry. There is no industry which has grown like this. But this, and beauty is, this money does not belong to any of the institution. Money belongs to the individual members. So with these words, I would like to say thank you very much for attending and listening carefully. I hope so. And if it has added some value, do reach out to us that you need some more information about it. We're happy to come and discuss with you. And slowly, as we gear up more, we are recruiting more people with data analytics, more people with expertise in how they can help you, how to increase superannuation. Then we can arrange probably every company, we can do a targeted presentation. And individually, if you want to have a discussion, we'll be happy to have the discussion with you that this is my situation, what should I do, or is it a way I can increase my superannuation contribution? We'll be happy to do that. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CEO Rajeev Sharma. Now we'll move on for this morning, and our good CEO will now do the presentation. And we'll again invite our good CEO Arvind to do the presentation. So the hour. The award for Best Employer with Employer Voluntary Contributions, and that is under category C. The winner is Lay Golf Club. Thank you. The other award goes to the Best Employer with Employer Voluntary Contributions under category C, and that's the second runner-up goes to Globe PNG Limited. The third goes, the award goes for most compliant employer in account maintenance under category C, and that's the second runner-up for awarded to Lay Chamber of Commerce. And the last, for Best Employer with Member Voluntary Contributions under category A, second runner-up goes to ICT SI South Pacific. Thank you, the winners, and thank you, CEO. We'll have the group photo with our winners after the session. Thank you. So we'll move on with the presentation, and now we invite our Chief Officer, Employer and Member Services, Mr. Willson.
Good morning, Olga. Mamas, come looking you again. Thank you for taking the time to join us today as we share insights into your fund. I think you plan to something CEO Blooming Play for Kinis and now by Plaharim Long. Division Global Plan, Member and Employer Services Division, we perform the core functions of the fund. Members deal directly with all members and employers. So my presentation today will focus on our key issues and how we may address it. So the outline of my presentation, I'll share the current key issues, the identified causes of those issues, and recommended way forward improvements, and other important process information. So as you can see, the current challenges we have high unallocated contributions. That's a red flag, and it's been highlighted over the years. And this relates to remitted contributions. Employers are buying along Nasfund, but it is not allocated into members' accounts. So as at the end of April, we had 73 million. The 69 million is at the end of December 2024. Now last month was 73 million, so we're increasing on that. And it is made up of 26,000 receipts, number of receipts. Lay alone, 9 million kina, total 2,600 receipts. Another block key issue, high defaulting employers, and these are employers who have not remitted deducted contributions to the fund, all employees law. So as at the end of December 2024, I'm 17%, and last month I'm going up to 21%. And that is made up of 612 defaulting employees. Momase in total, 105 defaulting employees. Another key issue is the incomplete member biodata. Where you're looking at 88,000 new beneficiary accounts, and these are active numbers. People are not got full details for all member. So lay alone and got 18,000 accounts. And overall, Momase 26,000 accounts. Another issue is the lack of engagement using our available online services. So those are the 4 highlighted key issues. So me talk about what causes high unallocated contributions. So all employers that you work in deduction finish income law fortnight, you remit the contribution to the fund. The time you remit in contribution to income law fund, you know some central income law to allocate that into individual member accounts. That's the first one. People that plenty unallocated, the people not simple power law allocating. So what can you do? All you need to do is sign the schedule income and the copies of the deposit receipts. Another cause of that is the incomplete allocation in progress, and that relates to those who are registered to the employee online portal. And people are uploading file, people are not checking. It goes and sits in progress, meaning it hasn't got to completion. So again, this is due to errors of some accounts in the schedule. And all you need to do is reach out to your account manager to identify what the issue is. So please ensure that you look file plan, go back into EON and checking status below this file you are uploading and stop complete and stop in progress. And unknown deposits. So we got 13 million kina as of last month, and there was a total of 4,100 deposits. It's like money come inside the bank account, the Nasfund, and it has vague narration. You know that name of employer or you know that employer code. So we don't know who it belongs to. Again, this is a reminder to you. So when you work in banking law, you finish, please send us a schedule account and a copy of the direct deposit that you have done. And it's also important to note that you must track your super account. Suppose you look and say there's a certain month that hasn't been, it's not showing in your account, there's an issue with that. So you must reach out to the account manager. High defaulting employers. As we talk with this, employers, they do deductions and they are not remitting those deductions to the fund. So the cause of that is those deductions are not paid on time. And it's against the Superannuation Act 2000, Section 76 to 78, and the employer must remit him 6% of the employee deductions and 8.4 of the employer contributions to the fund. So that should be done to be compliant with the Act. So what can you do? Just remit him all this deducted contributions to Kamlanes Fund. Lack of notification on company financial status. People understand some company only got they're going through tough times financially. So all you need to do is again you reach out to our account manager, engage one them all now you got payment plan. You allow payment plan so little money can still come in or put in the member's account. Another cost defaulting employers. Some of the time money you salary come inside, but it's sitting there as an unknown deposit. Because we don't know where it belongs to. So please provide him with a copy of deposit receipt account, and we will go in and put that against your employer and have it uploaded. But again, another reminder, always ensure or always monitor your deposits to ensure that they are allocated. I am complete member biodata, CEO Rajeev Sharma, and the cause of that is incomplete onboarding of new members and nil submission of the member detail update form. So member detail update form and the members full biodata, all the details from member is applying. So time you work in onboarding, for those who are on the portal, you should also submit the form. And it is also important to note that before they are made permanent. So within the 3 months, and good time they will work in Malaysia and they get the forms completed. The salary come on Nasfund, working registration or you working registration, and you also complete all the details, get that updated in the system. And that allows sufficient treasury, and that's in our drive, data cleansing drive, to ensure that all members got, we have the forms in place in the system or the biodata is updated. So please, if you have that, ensure that you see more the members listed on your report. Because time you not heavy by got family blaming. Time you may die, or member die, or family blaming by kissing my time, so you know that beneficiary, there's nil beneficiary in our system. And by member online portal, where you can track your balance, tracking what contribution has been allocated, tax file, you do it via mobile or using text, just do the *627. And for those employers who have not registered to the portal, employee online portal, it's a very convenient service that you can do from your call center. Advise all your employees to use the call center for information on balances and withdrawals. As we are your call center, then you ring it go. There's what we call the IVR, interactive voice response, that will respond to all the options you work in. So the advantages of embracing the require 2% of the housing advance to commence, or I must start before paying you this housing advance payment. And the funds can be directed to building materials, you go along hardware, housing advance you can see. Because you get a super and low retirement, time you finish work. The government and thinking good law, time you retire, you must get house. So that's why in a housing advance start. And the housing advance is limited to 2. So again, you using first one, and that's in the super rules. You using first one, so you using 10,000. Your second one will be limited to that 10,000. So I encourage you encourage you online like some housing advance, put in voluntary contributions. The company is already deducting 6%, but you can put in $1,000. It can be as high as you can, but according to the budget from member. So the second housing advance you see, and it's limited to the first one. Advances are paid, advances are paid directly to the service providers, bank, or contractors, and ensure that you talk something online or increasing contributions to using higher housing advance. Moving on to member withdrawal. As you can see, a member can only withdraw time only losing work when they are unemployed. So if a member is unemployed, and after the 3 months of continuous unemployment, and can apply. And for those on the 3rd month, for those that are less than 1,000, only 10% full. This law only the balances are more than the 1,000, then they can get partial withdrawals. They're eligible to get partial withdrawals. This is a monthly partial withdrawal. It's equivalent to the fortnightly paid loan month. That's why the time police plus put in name gross salary loan. So we work that out from there. One of salary loan one of monthly payment but number. Under medical and disease, there's immediate withdrawal, and also retirement, meaning online only 55 years of age, or you can immediately refund loan. So I have listed up there some mandatory documents that should be provided. That's on the website as well, but I can just state those. The member must complete the withdrawal form. There must be a confirmation letter from the last employer. Suppose you remember a workload tripler company and they were contributing to the fund, we need all those confirmation letters. Salary bank account statement, there's a requirement, copy of 2 IDs, can be an Nasfund ID, passport or work ID, NID, and the last pay slip advice. This is also to confirm that we have allocated that particular contribution. And withdrawal request letter from the member will need that. So under unemployment and retirement, altogether this paper must come. And for the other categories, there's additional requirements that people are required. So under transfer or over to another super fund, you will also include the current employee's confirmation letter, the member statement from the approved super fund. If the super fund you're calling in will need that document. Immigration, we require additional documents, which is the proof of residency, or citizenship, the country you're in, overseas bank account statement, proof of residential address, bank address, and just like additional information or paperwork. Under medical grounds of disability, will also require medical reports from 2 separate doctors, one blind by 2 blind, and also copy of medical history, or clinic will need copies of that, plus the employer's confirmation letter that member losing work long and been sick and losing work. So that's the basic information long member withdraw. So turnaround time for withdrawal benefits, and Ms. Awesome, plenty of employer losing work, or Balaka asking long. How long it will take for a member benefit to be processed. So there are basic 4 stages in the withdrawal benefit process. Stage 1 is the assessment, and that happens when you go to branch planners with submitting application for employee. So that's the assessment where the person at the counter will assess your document. Because providing all the documents you can, and plan on accepting, and passing in fact na tapsa law. One requirement to by providing. And once we have received all your documents, then it goes to the second stage, which is the assessment review stage. And it takes another 8 business hours. And that is where all approval line value work in the second assessment law and review the document. And if they find that we require further confirmation or details for some paper you will bring in, it will be queried and rejected back to stage 1. So those are that's the second stage. Stage 3, that's processing. If everything is in order from stage 2, it goes to processing. Meaning now if I go along, where they will process the file, processing application. Yeah. So it's like a same day processing, that's 8 business hours, and it moves to stage 4. So resolution and closure of that happens, it should happen on the same day. And that is because the money which should come out from our account, the funds account. So our financing processes that, and processing this lapage go to BSP, payment go to individual member accounts. If it's done late in the afternoon for the other banks, ANZ, Kinan, or Nambla Bank will probably show in the member's account on the next day. So it should take 3 to 5 days off. So that's the turnaround time on our withdrawal benefits. Taxation on super. Tax is applied at the time of exit, and it is calculated on the years of contribution. So you look in the more years you contribute to the fund, the less tax is applied. So the years of contribution, less than 5 years, marginal tax rate, and that's high. It's very high. It's around 36%. Between 5 years and 9 years, it reduces down to a concessional rate of 15%. Between 9 years and 15 years, then it's further reduced to 8%. More than 15 years of membership, and go down to 0%. And that was due to the recent tax change that happened early this year, where government erosion is at 2%, and now it's 0%. So our retirees, or those who have been in the fund for over 15 years, they are going home with everything family finish work. And this also applies to medical cases. This is cases now, members who have been in the fund for over 7 years, and they are over and above 50 years of age. So all two another tax will be applied on the withdrawals. Tax is only applied on the employer component. That's the 8.4, and the interest that's earned. So interest we got interest of member portion, not employer. So that both interest contributions, the interest that's earned, it's taxable unless you follow this law. This law you got reduced, go down to 0. And tax is not applied on the employee component, the 6% that's deducted, or any voluntary contributions that you receive law salary employee. Tax is not applied on this law because it's already been tax law company employee. Okay, we have online or digital member services. We have the call center. So member can call in call center on 1588, the Talkback agents blooming plan, or you just use you go and do the option log, Talkback machine whereby you respond long on all options that you like on the balances, stages of withdrawal. And then we have the employee online portal. That's a very convenient service that we provide for employers. For those of you who have not registered to this service, please, if you must look online long account manager or looking later, or you must register on this line. Then we have e-withdrawals, where member can losing work and can lodge an application lang law email, via the email to our e-withdrawals email address. But to utilize or to be eligible for this service, we must have your completed MDUF form. It must be in the system, everything is updated. And also we must have your personal email address that should be in our system. Member online portal, again, that's a service for individual members, the tracking balance bill plan, and tax file from just your mobile selling tax equal to *627, and you can also receive your balances. And we have the social and messaging channels. We are on WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can reach us there. We move on to the last slide, where we have future initiatives. And this is where we plan like improving operations plan, some process planning plan. And these are currently in progress. So you're looking, we have the review of the confirmation of employment letter. This is usually provided time member you plan or your former employees come to you and they ask for a confirmation letter because it's a requirement by the firm. People are like confirming that the member was employed by the respective employer. They don't need to come back to you to ask for it. It will be at that time. Because I think we understand there's challenges with our members. Only losing more lole na aligo lo bless na hard lo ring na kamli lo sing this letter. So that's one way where people think. And again, members with minimal records, people are working registration, but people are not selling this form income. So we are looking at ways to improve this process and reducing the slide issue in gap. But we will share more information on this time in the.
You're wrapping up the remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Willson. If you have questions, please take note of your questions, and we'll get all the questions after
from the
last presentation.
And it's easy to see that in outside of Port Australia. Yeah. So before I start, I just want to see our CEO spoke about cybersecurity. E-branch, Anne's mentioned. I'll talk on it a bit, and then some of the digital initiatives are. So Nasfund IT has a very distinct role from Kina. Kina is the funded workflow, the case 360 system enhancements. Right? So any enhancements to the core business application, Kina is responsible. In saying that, we have a cordial working relationship with the Kina tech analytics and other areas. We have a data and digital team, as we call it, which is responsible for data and also the innovation piece. So in the last couple of weeks, our CEO has also endorsed the Innovation Hub, and this will be pulling resources from different areas of the business to drive innovation, not only in technology, but services, the fund administrator. And it's important for us to have a really close working relationship because, after all, they manage the core registry system where all the data and information. We do it twice a year, and we also have a disaster recovery plan that is applied across the fund and with all areas. The other area that we approach cybersecurity is third-party support. So again, this is where those partners come into play, and every second year we change our cybersecurity partner, and this is we send an email that appears to be coming from our CEO or from our chairwoman or from the bank, and we test how our workers will respond to it. So if they click on it, they get a message saying that this was a simulated phishing test. And what that helps us with is to educate that employee when we run our awareness programs or our test, quarterly testing. Ms. Willson touched on e-branch or the digital services. So I won't spend too much time here, but I think what's important to know, there's different channels in which our members engage with us. It can be an email, it can be a phone call, it might be a social media, it might be SMS. So it's important for us to introduce these different channels to ensure that members and employers, they have access to Nasfund through multiple channels. Before I deep dive on at least one or two initiatives, I just want to share this slide. And if you look at it, it shows cloud, data, and AI in the middle. And then you have all the divisions and different things that they're doing across the fund. And this is really important because my counterparts in finance, in internal audit, in investments, it's very important for them to also have to be aware of what's going on in their domains in terms of technology, because as SMEs or as people that are involved in that domain, they also need to follow technology and how they can enhance the way they're working. And all of this, it comes back to the member, because when we adopt new technology, when we adopt enhancements across the business, it also helps us to reduce cost. Cost does not only come from people's time and resources, but it can be just employing more people. So we have this culture in Nasfund where we keep a very lean team of really bright and high caliber individuals across the business from the top all the way to the front line. And in order to maintain a low staff cost, it's important to deploy technologies that can enhance the way we work. So there's a few here, and I'll touch on, I think, AI, the three-way invoice matching, in member employer services. I'll touch on CRM and the e-batch processing as well. So CRM, CRM stands for customer relationship management, and our CRM platform is HubSpot, and we have three different modules inside it. There's a marketing hub, service hub system, our social media accounts. We're also working on a WhatsApp channel. It will all be coming through the CRM in order to capture the member, whether it's an employer or an employee, to capture the journey. And just on CRM, I wanted to point out HQ. But when you're sending those emails to them, it's sitting on an individual's mailbox. So we'd like to push them through CRM, so we have visibility of when that email arrived, when people clicked on it, when they responded to it, and the whole journey is captured inside the CRM. So this is not to so the ERP, you probably have your own ERPs, and this whole entire process it gets through to the ERP, where the purchase order is eventually released and the service is received from the service provider. So this is again was specifically around this initiative. So these are some of the metrics and benefits related to the invoice matching, that AI initiative. 40% increase in productivity, delinquencies. It streamlines the whole entire process for purchasing, and it reduces the time. So, as I said, the goal in deploying technology is not to make our work harder, but to enhance it so we can consolidate some efforts and maintain our service to the members and employees. The next AI initiative is the e-batch processing or current receipting workflow, and this is coming out of Ms. Willson's group. And what happens here is we receive a statement, and then we receive an email very verification from account managers, and there is almost a 4-hour process that goes through in terms of reconciliation and handling duplicate payments. So the outcome that comes from this 4 hours, it's reduced to 1 hour, and the matching is done to match the e-batch from the time it's created to what is in the fund administrator, and also the entire reconciliation piece. So that is all what used to be 3.5 hours. It comes down to about an hour or less. So this is important, especially for employers, as we receive payments, verify them, and then ensure that they are reconciled and allocated to respective funds. I guess that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I'll pass it back to Nathan.
On the Nasfund FM100 Talkback Show, coming to you live from the International Hotel.
Thank you, Arua. So we've come to the end. Please, I know it, when you came in the morning, there is a QR code receipt. We'd appreciate your feedback. Please, if you can spare this next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, complete the feedback. We'd love to hear your feedback. What can we do better, or any suggestions you may have? If you'd like to bring forth, please complete the survey for us. Before we take on the questions, if you have, just reiterating the entire presentation. Last year, Nasfund declared 11.75% interest. Their members or you yourself were very happy, some were disappointed. Those were disappointed because you did not pay as expected. You were in default. You did not remit your employees' contributions, and they missed out on 2-3 months' contributions, even 4 months. Okay? So take ownership of this, revisit your payment process. If you haven't been communicating to Nasfund, please communicate. Okay? So at the end of the day, when Nasfund declares interest, we'd like to see smiles across the entire membership base. Also revisiting the paid spots.
FM100 Talkback Show.
If you have note from Ms. Willson's presentation, going forward, we like to have the confirmation letters. In the event that someone's being released from your end or terminated, you usually submit the SF6 form. SF6 form is an Excel where you submit names of those who've left your organization to Nasfund. Moving forward, we like to have a confirmation letter accompanying the Excel. Excel, for instance, if there are 5 employees that have left, we complete the SF6. There's a summary of the 5 employees accompanied by 5 confirmation letters. And you send through to Nasfund to your website efficiency, as and when someone, for instance, he left Ley and is in Mount Hagen. There's no need for him to travel down to Ley to get a confirmation letter. The confirmation letter is already visible in our database. To come by this flow, do awareness in terms of products and services. Please feel free to reach out to your account managers, schedule a time, and the team will be happy to come by to your site and do awareness.
Okay, today I'll get again. I have an important announcement to make regarding our team structure here in Ley. Nathan, Mr. RTL, to be the RTL Momase, to be based here in Ley, and he brings a lot of experience, as he is also responsible for
the employers in terms of contacts. You will have his contact, and we will advise in terms of communication. Okay, now we'll take on questions, and
the contribution calculated from regular pay or from total gross pay, including overtime?
Okay, so in terms of expert employee contributes to Nasfund, that's what we're advocating now. So expatriates at the moment would like to onboard their expatriates to Super. We have a database of expatriates who are contributing to Ada Super, but not that many. So for those that would like to onboard employer and media too, we plan contribute more than 25%. More contribution because that's the only savings we play got. Now me looking how and grow. Now me like looking more sama.
RSA accountable retirees that's available, but we play it on this one, we play looking sebagai people tax to this land. Also, we play allowing all retirees to start NASA account or remain the Nasfund, still Nasfund, sorry, now using this product NASA. And we allow them to do fortnightly, people got fortnightly benefit payments, the people got monthly benefit payment. And now if you're looking, change it, come up super, the normal product, NASA account, where interest go down, tax go down to 0%. RSA, I mean, you know about Islam, you know that 0% of Islam. So the product that we have, that's benefit play all member. This one I need to be stopping RSA Lord. If you got some high tax long end, then you lose more now, you know, you are bruising this free, there's a free amount that's available there. The time you are bruising them, that's it back on top, and you exit. So I hope that's clear.
Thank you. So in terms of the RSA, it's something to do with the tax. It wasn't user friendly. That's why it was done away with. But your advantage being if you retire, you let your money be stopped with the next one, there are payment options available for you. If you're 55 and you need all your money, then take all your money out. Option 2, there's an option where we say payment upon request. You need money to solve how much money you like him, you apply. And then we'll pay according to your wish. The balance will be still written at that. We have one in front.
Thank you for the presentation. I have from the HR perspective, there's been a challenge.
So, her question being, someone went for a long service leave of 6 months. Yeah, and after 3 months into the leave, the question being, can they apply for partial payout? The answer is no, it's a negative.
Ceased from contributing to Nasfund, and it's over 2 years, and you are into retirement age. Is it how long does you cease contributions to Nasfund?
Okay, let me understand your question. You say 2 years of unemployment, your employers ceased operating in the country, and you want to withdraw your funds. 2 years is a long time. You already qualified for withdrawal. Application you can launch, the payment will be in full.
Thank you.
The Nasfund FM100 Talkback Show.
Questions here.
Coming to you live from the International Hotel.
Let's take the questions at the back.
For the Nasfund Annual Regional Employee Conference 2025 for the Momase region.
Thank you. I have a question, right? That I want all my long service leave entitlements not to be paid to me, but to be paid to Nasfund. So that it becomes part of the payment plans that I don't want to use everything in one go. That's my Nasfund plus my long service leave entitlements from my company. So if I choose to have all my entitlements or part of my entitlements paid to Nasfund, and then Nasfund can manage it on my behalf, is that possible?
That's a very good question, and I like the side deposit, the extra deposit, the voluntary contributions. Instead of you contributing 6%, you contribute more. But still, once you have benefits.
My reason of asking that is because 2 years ago, prior to me coming and starting here, there was a staff member who worked here, filled out your form, and it went into Nasfund. But as and when we're assisting the staff online, so we can tell them, look, it's a form you fill in out and start feelings. We give them a guarantee. So we don't have any problems here. So yeah, I think my case is that NBUF forms to be uploaded into the system so that the staff can see it. And that's all. Thank you.
Continuing with the questions and answers session.
So that's probably two ways to answer that. Firstly, as I said, the two core branch systems, they're managed by HINA. And it has some limitations, particularly in that area, but there are some upgrades that are ongoing which have the capability to do that. No promises yet. As I said, there's a huge dependency on the fund administrator to enable that. But as it is currently, I believe members have to have the signed form go through the employer in order to upload it. And from that point, necessary action is taken.
So the member detail update form is highly sensitive. Okay, there's high risk, and at the moment, like Arua mentioned, that option of employers importing or uploading those details were considered. But there is also risk associated with those biodatas. Now at the branch, we have a tracker. The same sentiment can be said with few other employers as well. You've sent your MDUs and the biodata, the beneficiaries are yet to be updated. We have a tracker. My encouragement to those that you've noted the beneficiaries are yet to be updated, or those MDUs are still pending update. Do up a listing. We'll be happy to revisit the submission. So do up a listing and send us the submitted or listing of those submitted MDUs, and we'll cross with our tracker for those MDUs. Thank you.
I just want to just add on to the current that can be at least can be sent out to us, and then we can have that to be eventually uploaded for your employees in your various businesses and your companies. So it doesn't hinder the process and also the importance of those members where eventually they encounter.
Past 10 minutes. It's now 11:40.
Coming to live
So
from
we'll
the
take one last question.
hotel.
Probably last two. And one at the
Minutes
back.
before wrapping up the program, question and answer session. Continuing.
Thank you, Nasfund, for the opportunity to ask.
Looking at
This question is in relation to
having some remarks from
employees
Chief
trying to
Executive
get support
Officer,
letters from former employers.
as well
I
as
see just it over the employer is now employed with a new company in Guru.
those maintaining.
How is he going? How is that easy for that? I mean, there's a bit of a challenge in terms of accessing former employees support letters in terms of when they want to withdraw their funds. Thank you.
Okay, good question. I think I partly answered the other question. So those companies that have ceased operation and you don't have a confirmation letter, we have a process in place to assist those. So there are two options, and the first one being we'd like the Commissioner of Force to endorse. Those last question from the deck. If you have questions, please see us after, and we can be happy to assist you with your question.
Question to me, those business members, first time, previously,
it's important that you drive the idea of them having their personal biodata updated immediately, or as if there's changes in socially married or only the bikini, they've got they move between different companies. When they're onboarded, it's important that they update their member data. So it prepares them as and when they become a disease, it helps us in our process. But in terms of the disease process, for none, the ones without any beneficiaries in our system, we have.
Thank you. Then Mr. Toksawe, so please get your employees to complete the member detail update form. For those that, in terms of turnaround time, if you are unemployed, relaxing money, it's straightforward. All people of family, amas bagi kabukin 100% negative. So it's a mediation process whereby the families give their consent on how we're going to distribute the estate.